Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am so honored and so excited to have Lindsay Withers here with me. She is one of our WiseMind Soul Warriors students. And so we're going to be interviewing her today, and she's going to be sharing her experience. And I'm also here to answer any questions. This will also be a live Q&A. So any questions that you might have around yoga psychology, around meditation, mindfulness, about WiseMind Soul Warrior, we are here to answer. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I have all these messages lighting up about where we're on live. So we'll figure that out later. But let's go ahead and get started. So Lindsay, I would love for you to share how you got started, like what brought you to the program, and whatever you want to share about where you were, when we met, and just kind of that process, whatever you want to share, and whatever you want to leave out is fine too.
Okay. All right. I would love to share. I'm really excited to get to share this so that people can hear what an amazing program this is. So my mother actually passed away at the beginning of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in a really bad place with grief.
Yeah.
I had a friend who invited me to go to the beach with her. And of course, I was resistant because I was like, oh, I'm just too depressed. I can't, I just need to lay in bed and cry. And, but she just kept saying, like, I really think this would be good for you. Like, let's go, and it's funny looking back now, little did I know that, what the universe was setting up for me in that weekend, because the conversation we had the first night we were there was about, how I was so interested in one day, doing some yoga psychology, and how just how fascinated by it all I was, and the neuroscience, and just how interesting it all was to me. And that was when my friend said, well, you should talk to my friend Jennie. You need to meet Jennie. And oh, by the way, next weekend she's doing a retreat, so you should go with me. And I'm like, sign me up, let's go. Okay, now I was out, and it just sounded like, and it felt like I was exactly where I needed to be, and that this was all, in the flow. So so that was that. And I went to the one-day retreat at the farm. I can't remember the name of the farm. Peaceland Farm.
That was at Morris Peaceland Farms in Raleigh.
I did a 3-hour kind of full immersion thing. And I found yesterday, I was cleaning out my room, and I found the little piece of paper from it that I wrote. And my intention when I went was, I was in such resistance with my grief. And then it's going to make me cry. The thing that we sang was that I released control. And it was just so perfect. We sang, I release control to the love, and
that heals me. Yeah, I release control. I open to the flow of love that heals me. Yeah, and we just kept singing that over and over again. And that's one of the mantras, which again is just so healing, that I release control, right? Because without releasing the control, we can't let go of the things that we have to release. If, like, to your point, if we were resisting it, we can't let it go, right? So I'm so glad that you brought that up, because that is probably by far my favorite mantra, and one of my favorites to actually do during a practice is that mantra, and I will play it over and over again. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that was the first release through this program that I had. And it was it was my grief, and in the little piece of paper I found yesterday, it says, it said, I release control and, I actually surrender to my grief journey. That's what it was. Fully surrender to my grief
Wow.
journey and however it unfolds for me.
Mhm.
And with doing that, then after that, I ended up, because it was so healing, and we did the burning bowl ceremony, and it was just, I mean, oh, it was so beautiful and moving and powerful. And after that, I knew I needed to do the training, and so I just went ahead and just kept rolling with that flow and started the YTT training, which has been just, it's just one awakening after another, really. It's been amazing. You know, I was thinking about this. It's the way that the program is set up, so that there's weekly lessons. There's a
Mhm.
sadhana practice, an asana practice, a meditation breath work,
Mhm.
the spiritual lesson, the teaching, the
Mhm.
way that it unfolds week by week allows it to come up. Like whatever the teaching is, I find awareness comes up for me, and
Mhm.
I see that in myself. And after there's awareness,
Mhm.
and then I've got my sadhana practice, right? So then I'm meditating, the breath work, it's coming up. I have my journaling practice that I'm doing.
Mhm.
Um, and and then there's the release.
Mhm.
It's just so amazing. So there's the release. And then I have my sisters here in this the yoga warrior sisters. So we're doing this with, to share with somebody,
Mhm.
what's coming up for me, what awareness I've had, and what I'm able to release, and then the spiritual awakening, and then after that comes the peace and the joy, and it's just a weekly. It's just been incredible. It's been extremely powerful. So it's changing me a lot.
Mhm. Yeah, and I can see it too. Like I can see it from and that's really like the honor that I have, and the gratitude that I have that I get to watch, the transformations that you guys go through. And it really is an honor and brings me so much joy to sit back and observe and watch you guys because to see like where you came when you came to in Raleigh when we did the
Mhm,
half day retreat
mhm,
at the Morris Beesland Farms to when you see I'm getting goosebumps right now to when you came in July in
mhm,
Asheville to now, and then us working one on one together too. So, in conjunction with the group coaching, like you and I, and watching that transformation, um, of you really letting go also of your inner critic
mhm,
and like working on transforming that samskara pattern in addition to some of the other emotions and things that you've been releasing and letting go so that you can move forward with this next project and kind of the next step in your dharma, right, that you're working
mhm,
on right now. That without releasing that and releasing those patterns, there's really no fully stepping into like using all your gifts and using your story and being able to fully move forward. Does that make sense?
yes, yes, and it's been incredible, and I didn't realize that losing a parent was going to, which it makes perfect sense that it does, but was going to bring up so much of my childhood stuff. And
Mhm.
so the timing of this was perfect because going back to all the old samskara patterns and the stuff that losing my mom brought
Mhm.
up, it
Mhm.
was just, the timing was so divine, and it's just been such a blessing. It's I've worked through, it's like doing grief work, but it's not specifically grief work, but then it's everything work. It's just the whole thing. It's amazing. What I released at the retreat in Asheville, which was amazing. Um, God, that was huge. all the inner critic and it was the I'm not enough samskara pattern. Fill
Mhm.
in the blank. I'm not this enough, that enough, whatever enough, just not enough.
Mhm.
Um, God, that is such garbage. It is such garbage that I've been telling myself my whole life.
Yeah.
And it's just been talk about a release and just the freedom that's come from that. I'm like, God, there's so much I can do.
Yeah,
I
that you and
really
that's I
do.
think the beautiful thing too is like watching you and watching everyone and having these aha moments that you have the power to make these choices to change,
Mhm,
right? And that each of you are
mhm,
empowered to choose again how you respond, to choose your thought patterns, to choose your emotion patterns, to choose how you react to different situations. Like that is probably one of the most, I mean, there's so many benefits to this I guess lifestyle for lack of a better word, like
mhm,
philosophy of living this off your mat, but really like living the mindfulness piece of it too, of like I choose, right? I get to
mhm,
choose. I choose my stress, I choose my samskara patterns, I choose how I talk to myself, I
mhm,
choose the thoughts I allow to come in. That has been, the biggest and also like learning to unconditionally love yourself is probably, I mean, again, I could go on and on and on. Like that's probably one of the most powerful, right? Because not only does it
mhm,
affect how you treat yourself, but it affects your relationships as a mom, as a wife, as a business owner, right? Because this shadow work that we do in this program, it affects every aspect of your life,
mhm,
right? So, and kind of thinking about, in the foundations part, the yoga psychology piece of identifying some shadow work and some family of origin work, like you mentioned, that came up for you, that maybe, some people that are watching this, like maybe they've done talk therapy, or maybe they've tried a life coach, or maybe they've tried different things and it might have gotten them to a certain point.
mhm,
But what I often have seen with students is this somatic mind body yoga therapy and
mhm,
yoga psychology methods that we use.
mhm.
It's really what propels them to the next level
Yeah.
of being able to release those wounds and heal those wounds, but also change those samskara patterns, right? Because I mean, and I'm a perfect testimony of that. Of I spent years and years in like therapy and group therapy and doing all these different things and doing yoga programs. And then when I did the yoga psychology program, that's what really like propelled everything. And that's what,
Mhm,
when I started the yoga psychology practice at the center in
mhm,
2017. So, and again, I'm getting goosebumps. So that is again what has kind of brought this all, to where it is now. So I'm so, so grateful to have gone through my journey.
mhm.
That
Me too. I'm grateful you went through your journey.
Yeah, but I can share that with you guys,
It's been
like to be able to
incredible.
have this wisdom so that you can get to your healing and transformation faster, right? In your
Yes.
own personal development and in your own business. Um, so talk a little bit more for a minute about the retreat and what that was like for you. I know you shared a little bit, but let's talk a little bit about that because we're going to be doing another one in November, and then the next one won't be until October 21 through 23 of 2022 that will be in Asheville. But share a minute about that. See.
Hmm. The retreat was at the Trauma Institute, which was stunning. I mean, just what a gorgeous environment, just place to, God, it was so beautiful. Um, I mean, just the practice was so spiritual and just being in a circle with all these women, it was like just the energy was
Mhm.
it was pure love. It was just love. It
Mhm.
was no any other way of putting it. It was just I just
Yeah.
felt so my bucket was just so full and it was so much just beautiful, loving, healing energy in there. And the food was amazing. Um just the time that we spent together. And then the Ayurvedic, the teachings, and I mean, Ramesh, God, yeah, I don't know if he's going to be at all of, are you going to have him there for the other?
Yes, I'll be
He,
there.
oh, good. That's so important because, I mean, there's just so much information that he's such an expert, and a lot of aha moments. Just to be able to be there in that space to just completely give myself completely to my practice and yoga and my healing without my children. I've got 3 little kids running around all the time, husband, dog, the stuff, all the stuff that distracts us from what we really just want to get quiet. We want to, but it's impossible for me to do that if I don't get away. I can't do that for more than 30, 45 minutes in my house. This was 4 days of it. So, I mean, what came with that was absolutely it was amazing. The relationships were it was really nice to meet and have time with the other women, just such beautiful souls, and to have time with Jennie in person, just to get her energy, loving energy. And God, I mean, you were amazing. You brought it, sister, for sure. I was blown away.
And I was
so blown away.
So drained. I mean, in a good way, but I had put out so much unconditional love poured on you guys. It took me about a couple weeks to recover from that, but it was all good. I mean, I was 100% present in the moment with you guys.
Were and we could feel that. We could feel your 100% present there with us, and we were all there. We were all present with each other. It was really very pure and very special. And it's just it's almost hard to describe that, because it is something I think that everyone should get to experience. And I want to go again. I just don't know when, but it's a really special experience.
Mark your calendar. I'm going to write that down here. So it's October 21 to 23 of 2022 in Asheville. In the comments. Okay.
Yeah. If anybody, I mean, it is a wonderful gift to give to yourself. Like, the best gift you could give to yourself is really to do this work. I think. I just want everybody to have a chance to experience it.
Yeah. And you brought up a great point. I remember, like, through my healing process, what I call my healing journey, there was definitely like a stepping point when I did start my yoga psychology training, because not only was I committing to the training investment, but I was also committing to the time and money to travel out to Los Angeles for 2 years. And I did that for 3 to 4 weeks out of the year for those 2 years. And I remember kind of going through that process, and a lot of other women that I've talked to, that I've said, you have to make the commitment of the time, the energy, and the finances, that you are going to get this. What you're going to get out of this is beyond tenfold. I mean, it's really priceless. I can't even, like, again, me getting goosebumps. So you can't really put a price on it.
Absolutely.
You are getting out of it. And that I promise you, whether it's for your business, whether it's for your own mental or physical health, whether it is healing your relationships, whether it's healing your samskara patterns, whether it is doing what we call intergenerational healing, so that you're doing this work not only for your generation, but for future generations, for your own kids, and building what I like to call a legacy of peace. Because a big part of this is by transforming these behavior patterns, you are creating a level of peace within you and a level of calm that no matter what happens, even in the middle of a global pandemic, that you're coming from a place of calm. So definitely stress resilience is a huge component of this program, based on my own story that you're familiar with, of me running into burnout and not having these skills like mindfulness and meditation, and letting go of some scar patterns not serving me, like perfectionism and inner critic voice and imposter syndrome and taskmaster, and never getting enough done. If I wouldn't have gotten rid of those patterns, I would still be struggling with burnout, because my natural tendency is the type A perfectionist workaholic. And I never gave myself a break, and I would never stop. And so I pushed myself to that brink of being forced to stop, which is what led me to yoga and meditation and mindfulness in this whole journey. So I don't want somebody else to have to go to that place that I went to. So kind of thinking about it as like burnout prevention,
Yeah.
not ending up. So the other thing I did want to mention on here, that this is definitely obviously for yoga teachers, and Lindsay is a yoga teacher. She's got her 200 certification. She's doing her advanced training, and she's taking it to the next level, and she has a beautiful practice. But I also wanted to mention this is also for corporate women and business women and entrepreneurs, and someone who may have no intention of teaching, because there is as much personal development and learning stress management and learning emotional resilience, in addition to learning a regular sadhana self-care practice, whether you choose to teach or you choose not to teach. So it's really important that I mention that, because over half the women we have in the group are coming from a corporate background, and they don't know yet what they're going to do with the program. All they know is they're here to do the personal development, to learn the yoga psychology skills, to learn the breath work, the meditation, the asana practice, to do the shadow work. And then they're going to see on the other end of the program what that leads them to. Right. So that's important. I wanted to mention that on here, because to hear that from me, because we tried to make that as clear as we could on the information page, but I just want to put that out there for the women that, I talked to. I just talked to somebody last week, and she's like, well, I don't know if I want to teach. I might teach mindfulness. I might teach meditation. I might not teach anything. I said, well, you're going to get just as much out of this.
Yes. But because you'll know it, and it's a tool that everyone wants to know, we end up teaching it, because people, even our friends are like, well, how do you do that? Well, how do you, everybody wants to know, because it works, and it's a solution that actually, it's not, it really does. It is life-changing, and we all need this. Everybody needs it. Everybody, like I didn't want to be a yoga teacher years ago either. I didn't. This just ended up happening because,
And you and I talked about this, because it's so interesting, because I didn't either. Right. When I started my first YTT training, I had only been doing yoga about, I don't know, it was somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks. It was a very short time. And all I knew is that this worked, and it helped with my anxiety. I was struggling with depression at the time. And I remember being like, yes, I want to know more about this, and I want to go deeper into this practice.
That was me.
And I had no idea if I was going to teach. And I remember them telling me that. This is going on 10 years ago. And I trusted that, right? When they told me, you don't have to know going into this program what you're going to do on the other end.
Yeah.
Remember them telling me, oftentimes the people that say they don't know are the ones that end up becoming teachers. Right. And you're one of them. Right.
Yeah,
and I'm one of them. You look at me, like, here I am going on 10 years later. And look, so
I was never going to do this, but
and it doesn't mean you have to be an asana teacher either. You can teach meditation and breath work and be a yoga teacher, right? You can teach breath work. And it's all different to different people. You don't have to be teaching handstands to be a yoga teacher, right?
No. Yeah.
So
totally.
I think that's like a huge misconception that's out there too, is you see all this stuff on IG and all these things, people that can do all these fancy poses, and that's all awesome and great, but you don't have to do that to be a good yoga teacher, especially if your intention is to do yoga therapy or yoga psychology, which is going deeper into the practice from an emotional and mental health perspective, right?
I think so. I think the people that are called to do this are people on the front end of the healing movement that is happening. And I mean, we all know, we look around at our, society and our world, like clearly healing needs to happen. And this is coming, and it does feel like a movement. And it does feel like, people are, it just, when you find yourself in front of this, and for me, when I find myself with this stuff right in front of me, I'm like, I'm supposed to be right here. Like, this is just,
Mhm.
it's time for healing. Let's go,
Yeah.
and let's start spreading this stuff and these tools, and to give people some peace and joy and happiness, because we've all been had so much anxiety and just
Mhm.
pain. It's been
Yeah.
tough.
It's been a tough year and a half, and
Yeah.
and I talked about this in the quarantine last year, and since the pandemic started, that we've always needed this work.
Mhm.
It's just escalated it and elevated it more because now some of the skills and the coping skills that people use and the distractions that we had, like keeping busy,
Mhm.
especially when we were in quarantine, weren't available. And so all this stuff that had been buried in the unconscious got brought up to the conscious, and then people are like, I don't know what to do with this,
Yeah.
right? And it's going to continue to happen, you know,
Yeah.
as the pandemic goes on. So yes, this work is important. It's always been, but
Yeah.
especially now. And you and I have talked about this. Like, we are here for a time as this,
Mm.
that who's ever meant to step into their leadership role,
Yes.
we want to create a ripple effect with this work. And there's
Absolutely.
a lot of people that need it. There's plenty of room for all teachers. We each have our own unique story. We each have
Yes.
our own unique healing that we're meant to help other people through their process.
Mhm.
There's more than enough yoga. You and I have talked about this, for everybody.
And it's the best work to be doing because there's so much joy in it.
Mhm.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, it's priceless. There's just so much joy. For me, spiritual awakenings, the joy, the love, the peace. I mean, come on. Like,
Yeah.
let's it's so good. So, anyway, I'm very grateful.
I am too.
Very.
I'm so grateful that I answered the call. So
Mm,
they talk about this in the hero's journey, and you're doing the
mhm,
same thing. You've answered the call, Lindsay.
mm.
Is, the first step in the hero's journey is to answer the call.
Wow.
And oftentimes resistance, right? You're going to run into resistance, but if you can move through that resistance and you can step into what we call your next threshold of initiation, your next learning growth, um, we need more people to step into that right now, right? And to kind of step into, I guess, faith over fear, and that your dharma and your purpose and your assignment on this planet right now becomes more important than your fear, right? So people like Brene Brown and Oprah Winfrey and all kinds of these great role models that we have talk about, I still get fear, but
Mhm.
I do it despite the fear,
That's right.
right? Because that's not going to go away, right? There's still going to be a little bit in the background. That's the
Mhm.
imposter syndrome. That's the ego, the inner critic
Mhm.
voice. It's not going to go completely away.
Mhm.
But I can promise you this, being on the other side of it, 95% of the time, I'm able to redirect those thoughts. That is what is possible. So going from someone who had, on a scale of 1 to 10, an inner critic of about a 15, it's about down to, I'd say, a 3 now.
It's
So, and
awesome.
I say that in full confidence that I know this is possible, because it's not only soul and spirituality, but it's the science. It's the neuroscience that says, through meditation and breath work and asana and journaling and all these practices, shadow work and family of origin work and journaling, that we can redirect our actual neuron pathways in our brain and create new pathways. And once those pathways are created, the brain will continue to go to those pathways, and the old ones will weaken.
Mhm.
And that's what you're working on. That's what you've started doing since May with your inner
Mhm.
critic, and that's what everybody in the group is doing. And so going into 5 years of that work, I can tell you it is 100% possible. And I've seen major changes in people like you, anywhere from 6 months to a year, totally different person, right? So looking
Hmm.
at like where I was, comparing yourself to yourself, right? Where you
Mhm.
were a year ago, where you were 6 months ago. We're not ever comparing other people. We're only comparing ourselves to our own growth, right? And our own change.
Wow.
So tell me about the consultation, okay? Because one of the things that we've been working on it's going to go through Saturday, is trying to work with folks on a discovery call and like really figuring out what are they struggling with, what do they want to change, what do they want to move to, and is this a good program that's in alignment for them? But there's going to be people out there that are going to see this that don't know me, they've never met me, maybe share your experience with the consult, the discovery call, and what that was like.
Well, I felt like I had already met you before. I kind of just, it was just really, I mean, it was just really calm and relaxing and not stressful. And it was just very easy. We just chatted. It was just a very, just comfortable conversation about, I was able to just be really open and honest. My mom's just died. I'm in grief and I'm struggling right now. And, you were able to just kind of say, well, these are the parts of what we're doing over here at, WiseMind. And this is parts of this program that's going to work with that. And then there was so much more that we didn't even get to talk about that has come out that's been so helpful. But yeah, I mean, it was just, it wasn't a big thing. It was easy. And it was just, I mean, you're obviously a very easy person to talk to, very approachable. And it was just, it was great though, because it really helped me see exactly how this was going to work. And it's been amazing. And also it was just so nice to talk to you in person and hear that you've had your own struggles too. Like you're like a human being with problems and pain and you've worked through it. So you've done your work. So when I'm sharing with you, this is where I'm at. I don't feel like you don't understand. I know you understand. You know exactly where I'm at because you've been there and you're able to, relate. So, and empathize, and it feels really nice. So I really love that.
Thanks, girl. Well, I love to seriously, I mean, this, like my heart is like, so I worked so hard for it to be so open so that I can give that unconditional love to each and every student. And I think it's also like the cheerleader in me. Like I've always been a natural coach to want to lift people up and get excited and like motivate people. So it's just really interesting how all these different things have kind of gelled together. Because it gives me so much joy to watch you all grow. And that's part of like living in service. And that's definitely a huge part of this program is learning to live in service. And how do you live in service to other people, right? And it's not about me, it's about you guys, and it's about like creating a ripple effect in the world and healing, right? The world, right? We have to start with ourselves. We have to heal ourselves first, and then we can help heal ripple effect out into the world.
But you really do that for us, Jennie. You really do that for your students. You really live that, and it's very obvious in your work. So
You're gonna make me like I remember one of the women that I worked with last year, and she said, I have never been, and she wasn't even a yoga teacher. She said, I have never been in such a safe space of non-judgment that I felt like I could share anything and you would not judge me. There was no
yes, that's you. Yes.
And you know why? I spent going on 10 years learning not to judge myself.
Right.
And so as you learn the mindfulness principle of non-judgment and you apply that self-forgiveness and that what we call radical self-acceptance to ourself, you naturally, through the lens that you see other people through, become less judgmental and you become more empathetic and you become more compassionate because you've given that love and compassion and empathy to yourself. Does that make sense?
It does. And it's beautiful.
Yeah. And I can see you doing that too. You're working on that. I can see other women in the group that are slowly starting to practice the mindful self-compassion and starting to see the lens, see people differently. You're going to see your partner differently, and your husband
Mhm.
differently, and your kids differently, your family of origin differently, your everything, your whole lens will change.
Yeah,
You're
I've
changing.
definitely seen I've seen myself step in and take some change my mind about things lately, where
Yeah.
I'll catch myself, the awareness, the mindfulness of,
Mhm.
oh, I'm doing that same old thing, or that's that same old thought. Oh, no, 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 we're not doing that. That's not what we're doing anymore. Mm-mm.
No,
Yeah.
not doing
Let's
it.
go back and do that one more time, right? And make the change, right?
Mhm.
And then and that's the new pattern, starting the new pattern. And it's amazing. And it's been awesome.
To actually teach yourself,
Mhm.
to have that self-awareness and to train your brain, right? You become a samurai, a ninja, whatever you want to call it, of your own
Yeah,
mind.
it's cool.
And it's witness mind. That's what it is. It's
Mhm.
being able to step back and observe your own thoughts, right?
Mhm.
You're just like, again, you've heard me say this. I'm sure you'll hear me talk about it again. Like
Mhm.
you're sitting back, like you're watching a movie, and
Mhm.
you are able to observe your own thoughts and
Mhm.
start to slow them down before it goes into that cycle of thought, emotion, behavior
Mhm.
pattern. When you're in
Mhm.
the unconscious, right? You become conscious of the thoughts rather than you're just running from the unconscious mind, and you're just reacting and being triggered, and
Yeah.
I like to call it walking around in the matrix, right, before you're aware.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so one other thing I wanted you to share is talk. I know you talked a little bit about the format with the group. We do group coaching once a week and
Mhm.
having that support, but share a little bit about the learning management system as far as what your experience has been with that. Like there's a component that's kind of self-paced,
Right.
and then there's a component that we all come together on.
Yeah, the self-paced part is huge. We all have our busy lives, and we're all trying to find ways to squeeze this in and make this
Mhm.
work for us. So, I mean, it's there. This is the program that I'm doing. This is my work, and then I can structure out my day every day and decide when I'm going to have my me time.
Mhm.
And that's my WiseMind, my teacher training time. And
Mhm.
it's all there. It's very organized. I love how it's organized.
Mhm.
I just love that I can go back and do a practice. There's a couple in the module 2 that I really like.
Mhm.
The chakra practices,
Mhm.
the asana practice, that I can go back and do that
Mhm.
when I want to. Um,
Mhm.
and then I've got the weekly thing happening. So I've got my Wednesday or my Thursday evening, whenever it falls
Mhm.
out, that I can do. But yeah, I mean, and if I don't get to do something for a couple of weeks, it's no big deal. Jenny's not calling me going, "What's your freaking problem? Do your stuff, you
No,
know?
no,
You're
we
gonna
do not.
fail. I'm failing you. You get an F. I don't have to deal
We
with
don't
that.
we don't like track you guys, like,
No.
it's all like on a
No.
trust
Yeah.
system.
I'm
You
a
don't
grown
wanna
ass
do that.
woman. I've paid this. This is what I'm doing. I'm doing this program, and I'm going to do it and it's on me. It's my responsibility. If I want to do the work, I do the work. And I
Mhm.
like that. I think that's, I couldn't come up with a better way to make it work.
Well, I feel like a couple things. One, I wanted to have that sense of accountability in that we're doing the group coaching on a weekly basis, that you have that touch
Mhm.
base with me and you have a touch base with the community and with the other women in the group, and you guys can share some of the things that you might be struggling with or
Mhm.
sharing in the teaching of that content, but then also having the piece that is self-paced, that like you said, you can go at your own pace
Mhm.
and whatever that is for you.
Yeah.
um so
Sometimes I binge.
yeah.
Sometimes I need to. Sometimes I'll get, that, oh, I just want to just do this, and
Mhm.
because I can get really intense on, what I'm doing. And
You
I'll
carve
see
out
like
the time. I mean,
5 videos in one day or something
yeah.
crazy.
And I love that, you guys have lifetime access to this. So to your
Yes.
point, if there was a sadhana practice or an asana practice or a journaling practice,
Mhm.
or a yoga therapy, somatic mind body yoga therapy, like emotional release or different things that really resonated for you, that you can go back and take that again and that you have the lifetime access.
I love
Um,
that.
so, and then you
Very
also have
valuable.
the done for you handouts too, is another thing. So you can take some of those handouts and be able to do your
Mhm.
own workshop, which is taking those and here you go, like you have done for you. And that's beyond what normal teacher training offers. So you have
Yes.
the manual, but you also have done for you handouts. Okay. So I just wanted to mention that.
It is
Um,
a huge amount of information, and which I don't mean that I mean that in a positive way. Like there
yeah.
is so much. It is just so rich,
Yeah.
full. There's so much. I don't know I could get through it all. It's
And
just
you
so
don't,
much.
and you don't have to.
It's
So just
amazing.
like, just to mention, like, I don't want to scare anybody either, that that manual, for example, is meant to be a resource.
Yeah.
And the pieces that we're teaching on in the LMS or in the group coaching, I'm referencing those because there's
Mhm.
other handouts that we're going through that I'm sharing with you, like some of the done for you handouts. Some of them are in the manual and some of them we're adding as we go.
Mhm.
So just know that yes, I mean, the manual is, like you said, it's extremely, I spent like months and months and months working on that. And I should mention, like, through the Yoga Alliance approval process, part of that is putting together a manual. And you and I talked about this. I don't do things
Mhm.
halfway. So it's a pretty extensive manual. And I've pulled a lot of things in that I've been working on, like one-on-one with people, other group programs that I've done prior to this. So I'm sharing like a lot with you guys. Like I'm just, yeah, there's a lot I'm sharing with you guys.
Yeah.
So one last thing, well, two things, and we're gonna call it. Is there anything that you want to share? And this is totally up to you. Anything you want to share around like the business part that we've done, like working with you from a business coaching perspective? And is there anything you want to share about your program? I know you're working on it right now. You're working on launching it. Is there anything that you want to share around that? And that's totally up to you. I know we didn't talk about this, so we didn't get a chance to talk about this piece, but
Yeah, I mean, the whole fact that you're willing to mentor, your students through to set up their own business is amazing. I am really eager, but I'm also there's so much, it's so broad that I
Mhm.
like to break it down and like even share anything. It feels like so big to me right now.
Mhm.
That's where I've been for the last couple of weeks. So
Okay.
I need to look at that because I almost feel like my mind is going, blah, like program, do your own thing. And there's so much to cover. And because there's so much work out there that we
Yeah.
need to shine light on, right? And
Yeah.
I almost feel like I need to do it all right now. And I know that is, I need to, I need to work on that.
Reel
So
it in. Reel it in.
yeah, I need to reel that one in. So I'm not going to share anything on my own program. I
Okay.
am going to share that I love knowing that when I do have this, like, whoa, that I have you, and then I can say, I'm writing this down because I've actually got something going over here that I've started writing some stuff down for you for our next meeting
Okay,
because
cool.
I know that we're going to have a time, an
Mhm.
hour one-on-one, which is extremely valuable. That I'm going to sit down and I can go through these questions with you, and I have someone to check this stuff with.
Mhm.
So, I mean, so it also brings me a lot of peace. So I know it's going to be fine. I mean, the example that you set is huge. So I'm just I say to you all the time, I'm just over here taking notes, right? I'm just going, okay, that's how you do that, look how she did such and such, or, because we're learning. But you're a teacher. You're always a teacher
Yeah.
all the time,
Hmm.
whenever you're around us. So
Oh, well, this, I'm so, like, again, honored because the faster I can get you to where you need to be in your business, the better, right? Because you know that. I mean, I have learned so many things, what to do, what not to do, the easy way, the
Mhm.
hard way, marketing, all these things. Because as you know, when I started the studio, I didn't know any of that stuff. I stepped in totally in faith,
Yeah.
living my dharma, and everything else was, so I want to make sure that you all can benefit from the things that I've learned and to get you there faster. And
Yes.
as far as the programs that you're working on right now with the 6 to 8 week or 12-week programs, that's where I started, right?
Mhm.
So it's a stepping stone process, and it's completely natural for you to feel that way, because I felt that way when I was building my first 6 and 8 week programs, right?
Mhm.
Because you have so many things that you want to do, and you're super passionate about it the way I am, and you want
Mhm.
to help everybody, right?
Yeah.
So it's really narrowing down the first project that you're going to do and really focusing in on that one project, maybe two, but
Mhm.
usually one, build that one up, and then you can kind of add on other things.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah. So one last thing, is there anything else that, for someone who's watching this, that may be considering joining the program or doing a consult call with me, and we've not connected with the discovery call and figuring out where they are now and where they want to be, and does this program align for them? What else would you maybe share for somebody that's watching this later? You know, any last words of wisdom that you would share?
I would share, don't worry about whether the program aligns for you, because it will align for you.
Okay.
Because this work it will align. It will. And it is, you cannot even, it's priceless. And Jennie's the right guide for you.
And
Yes,
I did want to
Jennie's your guide.
mention that I can't put all this on the sales page, but I do work with people,
Mhm.
students, from a financial perspective. So if you know that the timing is right for you and you're ready to put the time and
Yeah.
energy into your healing and transformation, or those of you that are yoga teachers and you really want to get your advanced training and you want to be able to do this work, I
Mhm.
can't put all of that on the information page, but just know that that's part of setting up a discovery call, is that I can also talk to you about different options for that as well. But I can't put all of that on the on the info page.
Yeah, and I
So
wouldn't just think a whole lot. Just if you're hearing this and you're meant to hear this right now, just connect from in here, and don't find all the ways you can, and just go with it's time. Just
yeah, your
don't think
heart,
yourself out of it.
right? With your
Yeah.
making the decision with your heart and your head, because I can tell you,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been a studio owner if I only made those decisions with my head. And the same
Yeah.
thing with me doing the training in Los Angeles. If that would have been a head only decision, it would have
Mm-mm.
never happened.
Yeah,
So
don't think too much. Just
your
do
gut
do.
check, right? Your
Right.
intuition. Yeah. Go
Yeah,
with your gut, go with the flow.
that's right.
Try to
Stay
let
in
go
the
of the resistance, because let me just say one last thing,
flow.
ladies. Okay. It- Lindsay shared this. She had resistance. You are going to have resistance anytime you are going through a change, when you're trying to heal something, when you're trying to transform, when you're trying to step into the next higher version of yourself. You are going to have resistance. It is guaranteed.
Mhm.
Every step you go to, you're
That's
gonna
right.
have resistance.
That's
I
right.
go through resistance in me trying to build what I'm moving to next. So the point is, every stage you go through, there is going to be a learning growth, that next threshold of initiation. So if
Mhm.
you just think of it that way, that it's an opportunity for growth with every situation that we're in. So just and that mindset makes it a lot easier. You don't put as much pressure on yourself. You just become
Mhm.
open to the flow, like Lindsay talked about at the beginning. And then
Mhm.
things become much easier that way, because you let go of the control, right? I release control, and I am open to the flow of love that heals me.
That's right. If we just shoot up and show up, that's it. And then we're in the flow. Just show up.
Yeah,
It's
I
it's
love that.
amazing.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love showing up, and rising up is another one too. Like we all
Mm.
can just rise up as women because we need more women leadership, strong women leadership right now more than ever.
Yes,
So
and in this way too, because there's so much love in the spiritual community, and it's so beautiful for us women to be lifting each other up and
yeah,
loving on each other and carrying each other and not being all catty and
mm-mm.
not with the yoga. It's beautiful. It's all love and
It
it's
is. It's all love.
wonderful.
It is 100% unconditional, right? And that's so
Yeah.
important because you and I have talked about this before, that we've all experienced probably at some point some type of experience that maybe you were not receiving unconditional love in within the community. And so
Mhm.
it's really shifting the mindset of what you and I have talked about, that there's more than enough for everyone.
Yeah.
This is not a competition. This is, we all work together in this work. And that becomes like living in service to a
Mhm.
higher good and a higher power. And it's not about the ego. It's not about us. It's not about like what type of, you know, poses we can do on Instagram. You know,
Oh,
it's about like doing the deep work of healing so that we can again help other people do the same thing. So, especially those yoga teachers out there, you mentioned this, you know, if you're doing that own work yourself, that inner work, you're going to go through that transformation, and then you can only take somebody else through to the level of depth that you've gone yourself. And
mhm,
so you're teaching through transmission as you
mhm.
go through these transformations. And then you'll be able to share that with your students about your own healing and transformation because you'll have gone through it yourself. Right. So that's the most powerful form of teaching to me, and of coaching, and truly authentically working with your students, is that you're coming from a place that you've gone through yourself. And so you're teaching through transmission. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah. So we didn't really have a whole lot of time. If somebody wants to like put some, you know, questions in the comments, Lindsay and I have been talking a lot of the time, which has been great. Thank you so much for sharing and spending the time to be on here with us and to have the courage to show up here live with me and to just share and have a conversation. I'm so, so grateful that you're doing that, and you're sharing your experience, and you're sharing your transformation and your story. And for those of you out there that see the replay, please feel free to DM us on Instagram. You can message us on Facebook. You can email us. I'll put my email in here. Um, and let me just quickly put the website, and that will also have the consult call, the discovery call that we've been talking about and that Lindsay shared. Um, One second. I'm going to put that in the comments so you guys will see that. It is wisemindyoga.com/soul warrior ITT. And I am super excited. We just did this yesterday, Lindsay. I got the domain Soul Warrior, WiseMind Soul Warrior. So
Yay.
in January, that's going to be officially the domain. So
That's
excited.
awesome.
So
Great.
again, if you have any questions, please feel free, reach out to us. And we're just super excited. Again, this will go through the 30th. And yeah, we just wanted to get Lindsay on here and share her experience. We might
Thank
surprise
you.
somebody else coming on. We'll see over the next week or next couple days here. But I'm so grateful, Lindsay, that you were able to fit this into your schedule. So thank
Well,
you so
thank
much.
you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. I
Well,
appreciate
girl,
it.
it's an honor having you as a student. And you know, I
Thank
sincerely
you.
mean that. I really am grateful. And it was definitely a higher power, God timing thing,
Oh,
universe
yeah.
that brought us together.
Oh,
So
yeah, for
um,
sure.
I'm so grateful for that. So thank you so much. And I
Me
can't wait. Lindsay and I
too.
will continue to work together next year.
Oh, yeah.
Um, to probably be a coach with me. So I'm really excited that's what I'm about. I want to lift the students up and be able to have them step into their own roles in leadership. So I just can't wait to just continue to watch your growth and your transformation. And I know, like, when we're talking at this point next year, again, I'm getting goosebumps. You're going to have your own more stories to share a year from now.
Thank you. Thanks, Jennie.
All right, girl. Well, I am sending you so much love, light, and blessing. I hope you can feel it through the screen. I'm giving you a virtual hug.
I can. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody who jumped on, everyone who watches the replay, and sending you so much love, light, and blessing. We will see you all soon.
Bye.
I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.